what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have my Drytron deck profile. I just wanted to kind of show what I've been playing competitively. Of course, there's plenty of these out there already. Mine doesn't have too many differences compared to plenty of the other decks out there. Just a couple of meta calls for my locals specifically. This is going to be, let's say, my second to last version prior to the March 1st ban list. And then I do kind of want to give my thoughts on what may happen that would affect Drytron's coming with the upcoming list. I'll kind of go through it quickly, explain the one or two differences that I have for my locals. Like I said, it's fairly similar to everything else. So let's get started. So first we have the Drytron package, the 3 Alpha Thuban, 3 Zeta, 1 Delta, and 1 Gamma. And then on our hand traps, we have 3 Ash, 3 Orange, and 1 Purple. I play the 1 Purple because my locals often is filled with trap decks, so it's nice to have, easy to search, similar to Orange. I wouldn't generally play this on a normal basis. I may side it, but otherwise it's just there as a meta call for my locals. Then we have, of course, I have 3 Benton, 1 Ultimateness, and 1 Natasha. I've noticed some people are starting to cut this. I understand why, but I love the fact that you can just end up taking your opponent's board and using it to link climb for OTKs. I may end up taking it out because it is slowly starting to kind of fall out of favor in my games too, but we'll see. We have the 1 Manju, Dawn Knight, Petite Angel, Ava, and that's it for the monsters. And then moving on to the spells, we have our 3 Nova, 3 Cyber Emergency. Then I am playing 2 Pot of Prosperity. Great to dig out for either the last piece you need or the hand trap or the orange light, you know, whatever you need. It's nice because it gave combo decks duality. There's plenty of things in your extra deck that you can dump that you won't necessarily need, especially if you're going first. So definitely worth playing. I would be playing 3, I'm just waiting for my 3rd to come in. Again, just want to kind of show what I have been playing. Then we have 2 Prep, 2 Fafnir, 1 Meteonis, Instant Fusion. Use this to get out Millennium Eyes. It helps, especially going first, of course, to have something to help stop the interruptions, right? Let you keep playing. And yeah, I think it's self-explanatory. Foolish and Call by. Similar reason to Instant Fusion, right? You want to be able to go off. These are kind of your 2 options to help potentially stop the hand traps that end your turn. Droll, Ash, whatever it may be. Then moving on to the extra deck, we got Zeus, Downard, and Assembled Nightingale. I would be playing Fuko, but I'm not sure. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't think it's necessary. I can go into Assembled the same way, but I understand it's unaffected by any card, so I get it. I probably should be playing it, but you know, you have pretty good wiggle room with the extra deck. Then we have Access Code, Boral Sword, Nightmare Unicorn, Cerberus, and Phoenix. And then we have Herald of Mirage Lights, Geoniter Transverser. This one is, you know, obviously you can take it out, you can leave it in. Depends on if you know everybody's going to play around it like normal. So like in larger events, I probably wouldn't play it because most people tend to play around it. Again, it's more of a local meta call because not everybody thinks about it. Union Carrier, IP, then Anima, Link Kribo, and Millennium Eyes for instant fusion. Then moving on to the side deck, we have 3 Denko. Of course, again, like I said, my locals is filled with back row decks. I think it would also keep it in, of course, going into larger events for the Eldritch matchups, Zulich, Guru, whatever it may be, you know, all those back row matchups. Then we have 2 Droll, 2 Lancia, then 3 Tactic Talents for the control matchups. Then we have 3 Twisters. I may take these out for Cosmics again. I would definitely play, I would probably play Lightning Storms if I had them. But of course, I'm, again, back row decks, I'm not a big fan of having to deal with them. The deck can run through them fairly easily, but having these options is nice. Feather Duster and Reboot. Now that's it for the deck. Again, I just kind of want to talk about what I think is going to happen with the deck on the March 1st ban list. Realistically, I can see nothing happening, just because it's Konami, they want to sell, right? So next set we have the rank 1 XCs coming out for the deck. That's going to be a game changer, right? That means with that we don't have to play Dawn Knight in the main deck anymore, which is really the biggest brick of the deck. You can still do things, you can still summon it, link off with it, and still get the dump, but you don't necessarily want to see this in your opening hand. So with that in mind, of course I feel like they need to keep the deck in check, so I think the obvious hit would be to Ben 10, but what I foresee happening here is, worst case, of course, it goes to 0, but best case, I think it'll be at 1 to 2. At 1, it slows the deck down immensely, but it's still playable, just makes it harder for the deck to continue doing what it does, especially if your opponent does DD Crow it, if they Cycle Reader it, whatever the case may be. At 2, keeps the deck playable, keeps it consistent, keeps it just about where it's at now, but also allows people to play it when the XCs comes out. So based off of what Konami likes to do, I can see this going to 2 first, then 1 or 0 on the next list, of course, depending on what happens to the meta. They don't really have a large sample size to go off of, short of the invitationals and extravaganzas. So I think it's kind of harder for them to make calls based off of just those alone. Otherwise, I don't really see anything else that they could hit directly on the deck except for Ava, but even then, I think that's kind of a bold call to say that they would hit Ava. I mean, again, it being Konami, they've done weird things. I don't think any of us can really predict what Konami's thinking. So, like, that's the only surprise thing I could see them potentially doing is banning Ava, which would be, again, odd. I don't see it happening. Just really, I'm trying to think like Konami, and I think that's what we need to do, is basically try to think like Konami. Fully understands why people think Ben 10 needs to go, because it's crazy how much you can search with a Ben 10 in one turn, and I've been in situations where I've only used one Ben 10 in a game, and it still let me continue to go off. So putting it to 1 I don't think kills the deck, but I think it would fall out of popularity, just like it kind of seems to have already. Same as, like, you know, how people swiftly, you know, went from a ruler ultimateness build to just having ultimateness, some not even using ultimateness anymore, or the megalith builds, right? There's so many different ways to play it, but ultimately it all tends to revolve around Ben 10. Maybe somebody creative can make something without Ben 10, but at the same time, I think with the way Konami does things, I'd see it going to 1 or 2 first, not directly banned. The crazy thing would be them banning Ava, hitting Union Carrier as an indirect hit, but again, next set we get the rank 1. Anyway guys, so that was my deck list. Kind of went a little longer than I wanted on my thoughts about what could happen on the list. You know, hopefully that comes up soon. Otherwise, I will have just my final pre or post March 1st build up in another week or 2. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, if you liked today's video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe for more content.